Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Scream Agenda. I suppose, first of all, I should introduce ourselves as the founders of the @ScreamOfCarnage Twitter account. We also have a new Instagram account of the same name where we'll be slowly uploading our vintage memes and artwork. If you're listening to the audio-only version of this podcast, do note that we may sometimes reference something visually, so if you'd like to have the visual aids, check it out on our YouTube channel. So there's three of us here today from the Scream Bullpen. I'll introduce each one of us separately, and then we'll each say a little bit about ourselves and our connection to Scream. So first up would be me, the host of this little chat. I'm Phonons, the Scream of Carnage videologist, I like to call myself. I'm the culprit behind such content as the Marvel Metal Figs and the Symbiote Rangers videos. Hope you enjoyed those. Out of the three of us, I consider myself to be the Scream Zoomer. I started to follow Scream at the Andy Benton saga, starting with Funeral Pyre. I knew of Scream and Mania thanks to Twisted Lemon, and when it was announced that she was coming back, his excitement was so darn infectious I couldn't help but get swept along. And now I'm a big fan. So next we have the aforementioned Twisted Lemon, who I like to think of as our Scream Boomer. He's usually the mastermind behind some of our bigger and longer memes and is our expert information gatherer. Lemon, why don't you tell us a bit about your Scream profile?
Okay, I'm old.
Nice.
Clearly. Well, where do I go? I suppose first I knew of Scream through Spider-Man. The Scarlet Spider saga. She was briefly in a couple of issues of that, but I was quite young at the time, so I didn't really recognise the character. I was more there for Venom, because the Fox Kids TV show was airing, and Venom was in that, and very popular. Then later on, I went to Florida and went on to the Universal Islands of Adventure Spider-Man ride, and Scream's one of the bad guys on that ride, and her design was really interesting, and I sort of had in the back of my head the time from the Scarlet Spider, but I couldn't quite click where she was from. Did a little bit of research and then found Lethal Protector, started reading that, and then followed her history, and the rest is
history.
History, yeah.
Right, good to hear from you, Lemon. So finally, we have Revy, who is our Scream Millennial. Revy is captain of the fantastic one-liner memes and does most of the account posts. All the content you get from us kind of regularly is thanks to them. Revy, why don't you tell us a bit about your Scream profile?
So I'm only really back on the Marvel Comics bandwagon after about 10, 15 years on the bench. I just got into it probably right in time for Absolute Carnage because, well, this clown here always going on about his Scream. Scream's getting a new series. Scream's getting a tie-in. Scream's getting a solo. And would you believe it, you got me fully hooked once again on the comics. So I'm now going back through the whole Scream backlog from, Lethal Protector onwards. I've just finished Exile Returns and Planet of the Symbiote. Can't wait to read Separation Anxiety. And I'm also looking forward into reading a bit more Andy Benton.
I really like Scream.
I'm aware.
Oh, we all really like Scream, or else we wouldn't be here. So yes, we've been planning to do a podcast like this for a while and talk about some Scream things. And, it was dragging along, and then eventually... we had the sad news that the book was being cancelled. And we thought, with one of the Scream Week events being fan creations, we thought it might be about time we actually finalised this and got it out there. So
really do something with our lives,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a whole episode that we recorded pre cancellation news that may never see the light of day.
Oh no, this is definitely the first one.
Yes, this is definitely the first one.
Here we are again. I mean, for the first time.
Hello for the first time. I guess that is the lost episode. Episode 0. Yes, so this is the second time we're attempting this, because the first time we had a really good run and everyone was very optimistic. Just getting it all sorted and then planning out a date to release, to make some more and then release them probably like weekly or whatever, and then got the news that the book was cancelled, so that made that first episode rather awkward.
But yes, anyway, in more positive news, I hope everyone is enjoying the festivities of Scream Week. Obviously we're recording this beforehand, but we've got a lot planned, we've got a lot ready to go, and I hope everyone, despite the bad news, has been enjoying the wave of Scream content. And if you haven't done so already, if you feel like trying to help out, we do have a petition. Revi, do you want to tell us specifics about it?
Yeah, after I heard about the cancellation, I made a little change.org petition. It's currently on... Oh, yeah, it's not bad. We're on over 160 supporters. Yeah, it's just like an open letter to Marvel saying, hey, we really enjoyed the series. Please consider releasing the rest of the Suffer the Children arc. Because we know from the artist that issues 7 and 8 were pretty much done, so it seems a bit sucky for your fans to not get any resolution.
Yes, we'd quite like some closure.
That would be great, and not the bad kind of closure either. Yeah, you can find that at change.org/Scream Curse of Carnage.
Yes, we should have links all over our social media regardless, so it shouldn't be too hard to find.
Oh, really? I haven't seen any.
Yeah, we barely ever talk about it.
Yeah.
Primarily, I do most of the posting on the Instagram, and I think most of the posts now, and the posts that there will be in the future, will probably have links to the petition. In fact, I think the last 3 posts that I've done from the time of recording this have all had the petition. Also, if you would also like to help in other ways, please get on social media and let Marvel know that you enjoy the series, that you like the characters, and that you would like it to continue, using the hashtag #ReviveScream.
Yes, we've got Revive Scream, and I think I've seen Save Scream going around, but...
And Scream for Scream is another one. But if you just use those tags and maybe tag Marvel and just politely ask, or just let your voices be heard.
Just like any positive reception that I can find and retweet, great.
That would really help. And then the other thing, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, is the trade paperback for the first 5 issues, which is the first story arc. That comes out soon. If you could, if you want to support the book, maybe you've already got the issues, as hardcovers or digitally, or it's your first time jumping in. That would be a great starting point, or it'd just be a great way to help support the book. Every sale helps, and then combined with the noise we've been making on social media platforms, hopefully might be enough to convince Marvel to the very least finish that second arc, which I think is primarily what we're all after.
An admirable goal.
Yes, Marvel's cancelled, books before, but if fans are loud enough, they do reinstate them. Wasn't it Spider-Girl?
Spider-Girl got cancelled quite a few times, yeah.
Once,
and then
twice.
Fan, I think it was more than twice actually, but fan support, or fan voices, brought it back, and that was in the days before social media, or when social media was in its infancy. So
I can think of at least 3 people I can count on to never shut up about Scream. So we're well on the way.
Yes. So yes, we may have lost the battle, but we can still win the war with Scream, I would say. So don't let the cancellation keep you down too long, and just stay positive and keep enjoying Scream if you enjoy it, because we'll be around to fill the Scream content void for as long as we can.
Keep screaming into the void.
I think us, and a shout out to Let's Talk Scream, keep the banner flying.
Yeah. So, in the spirit of the Scream Week, we thought we would discuss the daily topics in our first ever show today.
Yes. First ever.
The first ever one. There definitely hasn't been any others.
So our the first day was favourite Scream story. Which story arc do you like the most? What story do you think of when you think of Scream? What do you enjoy why do you enjoy that particular story so much? So, as I mentioned before, I'm quite new to this, so my favourite story is probably the Curse of Carnage first arc, but as we're going to be talking about that a lot in general and later, I thought I might throw a curveball in actually and say I really enjoyed Funeral Pyre. The one just before Absolute Carnage Scream, I think it was.
The Web of Venom one.
Yes.
You have to be a bit careful because there was a Venom Funeral Pyre in the 90s.
Yeah, they like reusing their names.
I think it's because it's a very iconic sort of name. It's like Lethal Protector gets brought up a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So, well, I know it's technically not a Scream story per se because she's not in it. I think it. I like to class it as a sort of origin story for the current Scream.
It's a good jump. It's a good jumping on point for sure.
It's a prelude. I guess technically it's a Scream story. There is a little cameo by the first Scream.
Oh yes, there is. Yeah, that was nice to see. That made me smile. But yes, this story really sets up a lot about Andy. It gives you like a little quick recap of what happened to her, what her life was like before the events of that book, and then obviously the Scream book, which was nice because I didn't really know a lot about her intimately like that. Like I said, I knew stories from Twisted Lemon and stuff, but it was really nice to read about her like that.
Yeah, for same. Like, I'd been publishing that thread on the Twitter about, oh, here's the history of Angie Benton, but that was the one story I'd actually read prior to Scream. I was like, this is a really good jumping on point.
Yeah, and it's really like dark and creepy and explores a lot of the, that kind of feeling of like, oh, I'm an outsider, like not the typical kind of teen, like I have friends, but they don't know my secrets or understand me. I don't know, like it felt very familiar and relatable.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm probably the only one who has a slightly different perspective because I was reading the Agent Venom run where she debuted, like as it was in print. So I followed that character quite a while now. Agent Venom run, first by Rick Remender, and then Cullen Bunn took over in the second half. Agent Venom is my favourite Venom. I think the Rick Remender run was absolutely fantastic outside of issue 15, which if anybody reads that issue will know immediately why I'm not particularly fond of that one. Yeah. For various reasons. But yes, I remember the Andy was debuted in that, and we all knew that she was going to play a supporting role, but not really understanding like what her role would be. Then she became Mania, was his sidekick, and then they put her away for a while. She brought her back in Space Knight, put her away for a while, brought her back in Venom Inc. Moving on, and then we got Funeral Pyre. So it was nice for me to, although I already knew the character, so the recaps weren't necessarily as important for me. It was nice to see where she'd been from the end of Venom Inc. up until that point. And it was, like, again, if you were new to the character, it was nice to see, like, a brief recap of, like, catching you up to this point now and then moving her forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so anyway, that was my favourite quote-unquote Scream story. What about you, Twisted Lemon?
My favourite story, it depends. I have two because I'm because I've followed Scream for quite a while. I can't really pick between who I, prefer. I'm giving a game away a bit here, but I don't care. I like Donna obviously a lot, the original, but I also like Andy. So I'm a bit conflicted on it's like for some people are Flash and Eddie. It's like which is the better Venom, and it's like both of them are good. So I kind of have that situation with Scream. I like both of them. So for Donna, my favourite story is Separation Anxiety, the original. I really enjoy that story a lot, and also there's a lot of focus on Scream, so that's great. And then Andy, obviously, her solo series, which I'm going to end up just promoting anyway. So yeah, that's really good. I really enjoyed that a lot. So it's those two particular: The Curse of Carnage 1 to 6 for Andy, and Separation Anxiety 1 to 4 for Donna. Those are my two favourites.
Nice. Okay then, and Revy?
I mean, we can't all say Scream Curse of Carnage. To be fair, I've only really read the modern stuff and Lethal Protector so far. I'm tempted to say Lethal Protector is my favourite, just because it's so stupid. It's like, wow, it's the first appearance of Scream in the middle of an arc where there's already so much other stuff going on. Like, prior to reading it, I thought, oh, the Life Foundation symbiotes, yeah, this arc is all about them. Nah, there's a whole bunch of other junk going on. Gotta get those homeless people out of the underground city so I can get my gold. Also, here's some new enemies for Venom.
Don't forget the giant digger robots.
And the giant digger robots, the Rock Raider exoskeletons.
That certainly sounds like a book of its era, yeah.
Oh, it's a trip. But yeah, I really like how they just chuck Scream in here and make her stand out from the rest. Like, oh, she's got all these special abilities, like she's picking up people with her hair, she's trying to impale Spider-Man on her hair. And the art style just makes her hair look so fluffy and bouncy, where it's usually wispy and spiky in newer ones. I don't know, it just looks really cute and colourful.
I think you're probably the first person who's ever described her hair as cute.
She's an e-girl. Look at her with that red stripe.
Oh no. Moving on swiftly. I think it does deserve a special mention though, because I'm not familiar with the story itself, but there is a specific panel in one of them. Lemon, which one is it?
The Exile Returns is the story, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, it's a fantastic panel where Twisted Lemon was telling me about some Scream history, and I was listening along, and then we were looking at images of it, and then there's just this one scene where Scream is looking for Spider-Man because she needs to find Venom, and she doesn't know where he is, so she goes to him for help. So she comes up to him and she says something like, please, Spider-Man, I need your help to find Venom. And Spider-Man just goes, no, I'm not having any of that. Like, I'm not dealing with symbiote nonsense. And he just swings away. And then Donna had two options, basically. It was like, well, that was unfortunate. I could just, follow him and explain the situation, ask more politely, he might help.
No.
Or, and then she rages out and destroys a rooftop. And, like, Lemon was telling me the story, and I was like, hang on a minute, is that really what she did? And it was kind of like he'd never really thought about specifically what was happening there. But yeah, she just, instead of doing something useful, like, she literally just raged out on a rooftop and destroyed it. But it did bring Venom to her, so I guess really it was the right choice.
Who's stupid now, huh?
Donna's not the most emotionally stable individual.
I think we can all relate to that. Sometimes I want to scream on a rooftop.
Yeah, me too. So, yeah, who are we to judge? Poor girl.
She was having a very bad day.
Next topic, we have favourite artists. Favourite artists who have drawn Scream. This can be in terms of both interiors, covers, or both. So I don't know about you guys, but I just decided to pick one of my favorite variant covers that's been done for Screen Curse of Carnage, because there's so many good ones to choose from. But personally, my favorite one is Greg Horn's variant for Screen Curse of Carnage.
Oh, yeah.
The Andy Benton one specifically. I come across as a real Andy Abu from all of this. But yeah, like I don't buy variant covers. Like I was more than happy just to collect the normal ones to read, but I saw this one and I fell in love with it. Like the colors and like it's so striking. Like it's just really good. Like I had to get myself this one. So yeah, that's got to be my favorite one.
Yeah, it's just one of those covers that seems a lot more like an art piece than just a cover.
Yeah. It doesn't make me think of like a comic book cover. It looks, like a piece of art, like a print or something you could buy. It's so good.
It's like something that'd be hanging up in a tattoo shop. Yeah,
it's very rad. Lemon?
Give me Bagley or give me death. Mark Bagley is, what's to say about him really? People have already said his art style's amazing. He can draw really good symbiotes, so thank you for that, Mark. Outside of, I feel like that's just like kind of a one that's that's a standard answer. Like everyone just goes Bagley, and you're like, yeah, of course. So I'd probably also pick. I do like that Greg Horn series of variants. Those are really nice. It's really hard to pick. I guess I also quite like Ron Lim's style, and he drew Scream first.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Technically, I guess Bagley drew her first because he did the cover for Lethal Protector 4, but Ron Lim drew the interiors.
Are we talking about first appearance or first, actually drawing? We have no timeline on this.
Well, the first appearance was Beyond the Cover, which was done by Bagley, but the interiors by Lim. Other than that, I think the late Tom Lyle, who did the Exile Returns, I believe he's the one who originated the Scarlet Spider design. I think he might have drawn that page. I'm not 100% sure on that though, but if he did, I really like that. So I'll say Bagley in general, and then for a variant cover, probably have to be the Grey Horns. Yeah, those are really, really nice. I quite like that recent Scream cover from for the Venom 26. Shannon Mayhew. Yeah. That's a really lovely cover.
Yeah, it's so hard just to pick one. They're all so good.
It really is.
I'm glad we've all decided that favourite means pick 5.
It's Scream, just pick them all.
Just pick them all.
There isn't a bad Scream.
Yeah.
I just thought about
there is
it.
a bad Scream, but not all Screams were created equal.
Yes, I'm sure we could all have. I'm sure if we all said, "Which is your least favourite Scream design?" everyone would say Doritos Head.
Oh dear.
Poor Doritos.
Revy?
So I do like how Scream is drawn in Lethal Protector. All colourful and bouncy and wacky. I do like how she's drawn in Curse of Carnage, where it's all gritty and edgy. But probably my favourite one interpretation is the Artgerm variant cover. Pretty much just anything that Artgerm draws, it's like, wow, he's printing gold.
Yeah, Artgerm is really good.
I think I have that as my background for WhatsApp for some reason. Just like anytime someone's talking to me, I'm like, there she is. That's Scream.
That's a good idea. I might do that. That way, if someone's really boring, I can just look at Scream.
This is why I have just the Marvel Comics app on my phone. So whenever anybody talks to me and I don't care, I just bring out a Scream issue.
I guess that's the thing about having multiple favourites. You can have your lock screen, you can have your wallpaper, you can have your app backgrounds.
Oh, for sure. That's what I've done. I've got the Shannon Mayhew
Never
as my
more
lock
than
screen.
5 meters away from Scream.
I think I've got the Greg Horn Andy as the wallpaper. It's never not. If I'm not within Scream at all times, if I'm not within an appropriate distance, I might just wither away.
Yeah, of course. You gotta remember the acronym. Always shill Scream.
Of course.
Okay, moving on. What we got next? Hosts. Yes, dedicated to all the wonderful women who have hosted the Scream symbiote. We, of course, have our original Donna Diego, short run Patricia Robinson, and Andy Benton. What do you like about them? Who is your favourite? So, again, because I'm still quite new to all of the Screamness, my favourite has to be Andy. In the short amount of time that I've known her, she's really found her a place in my heart. I love that girl. I really want her to be okay. I just think she's neat.
I just wanted to have a good life.
Yeah. Oh, bless her. But yeah, in particular, her struggles, with everything that happens to her, because so much bad stuff happens to her. And, she's still going, she had a dark time in her life and she was really struggling, and she managed to turn it around, and I find that really inspirational and motivational, and I think she's really well written in that regard. It felt real to me when it was describing how she was feeling. So yeah, top gal.
When I grow up, I want to be just like Andy.
Maybe not just like, but close.
Well, keep my family.
Not be a hellion.
Homeless.
Lemon?
I like Donna and I like Andy. Don't make me choose.
I
can't.
I don't think
I
we
can't
have
choose.
to.
I can't choose between them.
Just tell us. Just tell us what you like about them.
I like Donna because she's very strong. Out of all, there's 5 of the Life Foundation symbiotes, and yet she's easily the one that's got the most of a presence. She's the one who leads them. She's got the best design, and she's basically in separation anxiety in particular, where there's a lot more focus on those characters. She's the one who's keeping them all together and keeping them all sort of grounded as they're losing control. So I really like that aspect. I really like strong characters, like characters who are leaders and who get stuff done and take control of the situation and don't back down. Then she also turns out to be crazy, which adds this sort of aspect, aura of unpredictability about her, because then later on you don't know if she's going to help or hinder in a particular story. She sort of turns around and becomes a bit like Venom in that era, an anti-hero. She tries to make up for her past transgressions, but it really, it adds a little extra layer to this character, because suddenly she's got a mental illness, and it's a real shame they never used her more to sort of develop that and how that affects her and her life, and with her symbiote you just get kind of touched upon. So that's why I like Donna. I like Andy because, well, first of all, I've always loved Andy since the Agent Venom run, where she told Mephisto that she was going to punch a mud hole through his head, I think it was. At that point, once you've basically told Satan you're going to hurt him, I'm completely adored any character who would threaten Satan. So I like that. I like it's a teenage goth girl. She's a bit different. I feel like if you are particularly of that demographic, a young girl who's maybe a bit more tomboyish or into things that aren't traditionally what people associate with girls, then that's a really cool character. That's a character for you. And they're really, she's really well written. She's powerful, but she's also got flaws. So I like that. And then obviously as you go in a bit more, Clay obviously really got into the nitty-gritties of mental health, depression, bit PTSD with her, which I really liked exploring. Also, she's got demons. I mean,
She's got
what do you want
like
me to
mental
say?
demons and physical demons.
Physical demons. She likes to hit people with a wrench, which is tied to her dad using the wrench to protect her from Jack-o'-lantern, which cost him his life. So, there's loads of little things you can thread in. I like her relationships with like Flash and Mania, and then with Scream. So there's a lot to unpack with Andy. She's very interesting, not just to say generic, but like the generic interesting. But there's a lot going on with her, and a lot of different like aspects that writers can pull from and expand and develop. So that was really nice.
Yes. Revy?
See, I don't feel this is quite fair. I feel like we're overlooking someone. So anyway, my favourite is Andy, primarily because of all the Scream stories I've read, she's the host that stands out. Like, I've read Lethal Protector, I've read Exile Returns, I've never, if you will, I've never met Donna Diego. Like, I don't know this person underneath. She's not introduced until Separation Anxiety. And, yeah, I think the only thing you see of her after that is, the corpse? Yeah, so I've seen the corpse at the start of Absolute Carnage Scream. I'm like, yeah, she's really got it going on. What a cool character, being dead.
There is some Donna scenes in the Hunted storyline.
Oh, yeah, I'll get there. But yeah, Andy, she's my world. She's all I've ever known. I jumped in with Funeral Pyre, like, wow, this kid sure is cool. Wow, she's Scream now. She's a good Scream. They've got a whole different relationship from most of these other characters with symbiotes.
Yes.
It's not just like instant, oh, I love you now, Venom.
Shots fired. Despite all that, I do feel very bad for Patricia because she had such a small time as Scream.
She got a real raw deal.
She did. And like she seemed like a cool person, like from the little teeny tiny bits that you can see of her and about her.
Like when she was going at it with the Colonial Marines assault rifle, I was like, yeah, Ranger training, do it.
Yeah, like she looked tough, like she was ready, and she was like she'd prepared for this kind of stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like something bad happened to us, and she got ready.
In hindsight, she almost seems like the female version of Eddie, a little bit.
Yeah, like I suppose so. Yeah, she got ready for it, and then it didn't work out super well for her.
Yeah, it's putting it lightly.
I legit don't really even know anything more than that about her.
She was in the universally despised Daniel Way run from the early 2000s, where Daniel Way really wanted to just make The Thing, but with Venom. So he did. Then it got a bit weird. Patricia was the main heroine for most of that because she was bonded to the Venom clone, which would turn into Mania in the Cullen Bunn run of Agent Venom. So basically she started off, she's a telecommunications officer. Base gets attacked by the Venom clone. She gets turned into the clone of Venom. At the end of the story, Venom absorbs the clone into itself. Patricia disappears, don't know what happens to her, etc., etc. Get to Venom spits the clone out onto Andy, turns her into Mania. Venom Inc. happens, whatever, etc., etc. Then Patricia comes back. But then, yes, like you said, I didn't really think about it before, but she basically becomes like Eddie did in that interim part before becoming Toxin in the Agent Venom run, where he becomes basically a symbiote hunter.
Yeah, the symbiote master.
She's the same in that regard. She's planning to hunt them, but then she becomes one again for herself. I liked the little bits with her before. There wasn't really a lot to mine from it, but I liked when she first turns into Scream and she has that little brief moment where she's like, "Oh, I forgot what it feels like the sense of." I think the line's like the sense of togetherness, like we don't have to go it alone, and like because she mentions she was only like that second Venom for a brief time, but it was long enough for her to miss it, so she's got a lot of resentment still, and then she gets Scream, and it's like the hole sort of fills, but unfortunately the null influence drives it crazy.
Unfortunate that.
And then good old Carnage turned up.
As he is wont to do.
She had quite a good design as Scream as well.
Sandoval's, the artist Sandoval, he does. I really like his style, except for when he gives symbiotes toes.
Yeah, don't do that, please.
No, please.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's one of those. But outside of that, I really like his art. It's very stylized. He did quite a lot of the Mike Costa run for Venom. I like his art style. It's again outside the toes, so I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, I'm just flicking through it again, and it's quite cool. It looks like her face is always in shadow.
Yeah, it's very very moody, very atmospheric. I really liked how kind of in a lot of panels it looked very it's either muscle tendony or like very segmented, like the colors, and like there's harsh lines. Very aggressive design, I want to say, like really good.
It's very stylized. There's like an element of sort of anime-esque into it.
Yeah.
But still with a Western sort of sensibility. So
I guess we can talk more about that in a future episode.
Rest in peace, Patricia and Donna, I suppose, as well. Yeah, you had good runs.
I suppose.
Well, I don't feel as sad for Donna. She got to live a bit longer.
She's been dead for ages, though.
You tell me. I was there. I was really excited. I heard that she was back in issue 15.
There. I watched her die.
I did. I heard she was in it, and I was super excited. I literally went and picked up the issue, and then she was in it for a couple of pages, and I didn't like the issue after that.
Well, on the plus side, she wasn't cake.
No.
Oh. Keeping it timeless, eh?
I dated her immediately.
That meme's come around more than once, and it will do again. Hello, viewers in 2035.
We should probably bake a Scream cake one day.
Oh yeah, that sounds wicked. I'm going to do that.
And I shall eat it.
I suppose that does lead us nicely on to the next segment, which is memes. And now, anyone who knows us knows that we put a lot, some would say too much, time and effort into creating memes for our Screams.
We are the meme makers, and we are the screamers of Scream.
So, we don't want to sound too arrogant or whatever, but we had a quick look through our memology, as it were, because I can't think of a better word than that. And to pick some of our favourites. And I think my personal favourite one, because I think all the pieces just fit together when we all had this idea. And it was the first one in our apparently sub-series of memes, because we don't just make memes, we also have sub-series of memes now.
It's gone too far.
There's too many genres, like rock music.
But it was... Oh, no, it wasn't the first, because the first one was the Creeps. But yeah, the recreated... I don't know how to describe it. Movie posters. Yeah, homage movie posters that we edited with Scream pictures. I really enjoyed the concept of that. I thought it worked really well. Especially after the first one that Lemon did, which was the Creeps edit, which was really good. And that gave me the idea to suggest to him, and he executed it so perfectly. was the Creature of the Black Lagoon edit we did. And that is my favorite one because, I mean, just look at it. It just fits. It's perfect.
Yeah. You'd almost think it was real.
It also helps the Creature from the Black Lagoon is my favourite of the classic Universal monster movies. Because it has to, someone has to. Everybody always says Dracula or, Frankenstein. No one ever gives the Gill Man time. I do.
Gotta give him a chance.
Bring him back, please. I want to see not The Shape of Water, a more spooky. I don't know who I'm talking to, as if there's someone from Universal's going to watch this.
Hey, you never know. Someone at Universal could be a huge Scream fan.
I hope they are.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that Scream movie, by the way, if you are watching.
Yeah, I hope someone from Sony is watching this and knows there's a demand for Scream. Please put her in Venom 3.
Venom 3, Curse of Carnage.
So yes, that's my favourite one. Looking through our long history of memes. Lemon, did you manage to pick a favourite?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be really narcissistic here and pick one of my own.
That's okay. If you made one that you really liked.
I do like. It's not been posted yet,
Ooh.
So I'm sure it'll come up hopefully before this video.
If we've got a whole day of posting memes.
So yeah, I might as well. I'll say it now, and then if it isn't, well, surprise is ruined. But whatever. Because like you said, the movie posters. I think we've all really enjoyed those. I know I have. So I decided what was the better way than doing the Alien movie poster because, first of all, the subject matter in of itself works really well. Secondly, Disney now owns the Alien franchise, so there's another connection. And thirdly, the tagline is "In space, no one can hear you scream," and really,
yeah, it all just fell into place.
It all just came together perfectly.
In space, no one can read scream.
So I've done a little edit for that, and I should have that out on Meme Day, hopefully, with any luck.
Yes, cross your fingers. If not, sorry for the spoilers, fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the sub-series of kind of more horror-y films that we've recreated as Scream memes, I think after we started with the Creeps one, and honestly, I think it was because the writer Clay liked it so much. I think it was really easy to think of more because it felt like we'd actually made something that the writer himself had enjoyed. So then they were really worth doing because we weren't just doing them for ourselves, to have fun. All of a sudden, oh no, people actually like this subgenre. So it's very easy to do stuff when people are enjoying it.
It also helps that I'm a huge horror fan.
Yes.
It doesn't really hurt me to do horror posters or any sort of the horror genre because I'm all into that.
Yeah, you and Clay are kind of like two peas in a pod. It's really funny.
Yes, yeah, we do enjoy the same sort of things.
So, yes, Revi, did you manage to pick a favourite?
I do enjoy the videos you make for the channel. I really liked the Alien Rangers video.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun to make.
It works so well. Especially the panel with Spider-Man and Venom taking the place of Bulk and Skull. Just, oh, what's going on?
I was thinking, what can I do? Because the Ranger bit was easy, obviously, because we had all the symbiote girls and they would fit in easily into the roles. And then I was like, well, there's more characters in it. I've got to slot some more in. And then I remembered that panel of them looking dumbfounded from the Venom comic, was it? That panel?
Absolute Carnage one.
Absolute Carnage one, yeah. And just, yeah, it was like a lightning touching the ground moment. I was in there, got it down.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. I remember, I think I made one of the Morphle ones first.
Yes, you started out doing it, but then it was either we ran out of time or one of us got busy, and so I did the rest. But you did Scream, I'm pretty sure, first.
Yeah, because it was when video conferencing was becoming very popular. They're like, hey, here's some morpher backgrounds. You can use them to spice up your work calls. And I'm like, this could be about Scream.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, for me, it was honestly, I was listening to the Power Rangers theme song, and just the opening of like, after 10,000 years, I'm free, just immediately made me think of Null.
Yeah.
I think we've had that as well on the back burner for creative memes for a long time. Like, after 10,000 years, I'm free. Time to read Scream.
Yeah, we'd had something like it kind of like stirring in the background, and then, yeah, it just kind of, as usual, no one was there to stop me. So my dreams became a reality.
Your creative juices just flowed.
Yes. But yes, thank you for enjoying that one. Yeah, I very much enjoyed putting it together.
That's the nepotism topic over. Everybody pat themselves on the back.
Yeah, good job, us.
We did it.
That brings us on to Scream's future. Well, we know it might be not looking super positive right now, but the objective was to talk about what we'd like to see done with Scream in the future. Maybe our expectations, theories, suggestions, what we would like. Kind of like, just time to speculate and what we'd like to see. So, I just kind of want Scream and Andy to just continue to exist more than anything. I don't think that's too much to ask for, really.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That would be a boon.
Have you read any of the previous comics by Marvel?
Yeah. I don't know, I think it would be a real shame after they've done all this groundwork to set up this new relationship dynamic, this characters who have had, a long-running history, starting a new adventure together. I just don't want to see her turn up and, have, one scene and then she gets killed by Carnage or some nonsense like that.
Poof.
The Scream book did so much to explore difficult and dark topics. I know other comic books do that, but it felt really real and raw, which was what I liked about it. It didn't shy away from it or try and, mention it and then, cover it up because, it's a comic book. We can't talk too much about that stuff because it's, it's still kind of a kid thing. But yeah, I really liked that aspect of it. And if she did come back, when she comes back, okay, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of Andy and Scream dealing with their feelings, basically. Really
in a
enjoyed
romantic way?
No. Just dealing with feelings of, difficult stuff they have to go through, like forging a new path for themselves, making a future, not suffering. That's what I want.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Lemon, what are your hopes for Scream's future?
Hopes versus realities. My hope would be to get a King in Black tie-in. Would be nice. Obviously COVID's going to reduce the amount of tie-in books quite considerably. I know for Empire it has.
Yes, they cut off quite a few.
I assume though production possibly will be it'll be better than what it is right now. I would like a King in Black tie-in, just so that she's not forgotten. She's still part of the event.
Hey guys, look, Scream still exists.
I mean, obviously, I would like to finish that second arc of Curse of Carnage, whether that be in a trade paperback or if they just made a couple of the Venom issues super-sized special ones, and then just put the continuation of that story into a couple of those issues, and then maybe up the price because people would pay it anyway because people will pay for Venom. Even if they're not interested in the Scream story, they're still going to pay for it.
Venom always sells.
I would like just to finish that story off in some form would be very nice.
Yeah, even if it's just those black and white images that we saw Like, I wouldn't mind if it wasn't coloured. I just would really like to read the rest of that arc.
I mean, I've read manga before. It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's what I would like. But that's what I would like. Expectations. She comes back, possibly in The King in Black or later on, and then, like Scorn, she gets turned evil for some reason, and then gets killed by the bad guy to further their goals for whatever reason. That's what I expect to happen, because it's happened quite a few times before. But I hope it doesn't. I think the fact that they took a chance on even giving her a book in the first place, and that they made Andy scream, leads me to believe they're aware that this character or these characters have a fan base. Even if it's a niche, or niche, however you want to pronounce it, not an overly sizable one, but there's still a dedicated group of people who like these characters. I'm hoping that enough people who have been talking about it have at least shown Marvel there is value in keeping them around, so that even if they get put back in the toy box for a little bit, they will be brought back, and it won't be just to kill them off for shock value, to show Null's power or whoever it may be. Yeah, so I'm hoping at the very least a tie-in for the King in Black. And if not that, then at least they can show up again in the future, and that they're treated like value, like there's a value to them. They're valued, so they're not just used to be like, oh, we need someone to kill off. You Scream. It'd be like, oh, someone wants to use them for this cool story, or they would, it'd be nice if they interacted with Venom.
I feel like they can't avoid bringing her back for King in Black, just from the amount that it's been hyped up in Curse of Carnage. Big Mother's giving Scream this whole talk about, oh, when our Lord Null comes, you're going to serve him, you're going to be a demigod, you're going to be happy to serve him. It would be really strange if that just amounted to nothing.
Yeah, like you don't get two long-running characters, put them together in their own book, even though it was cancelled, to then, not do anything with them and regale them to a side character. That's a huge waste, I think.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yes, Revy, do you have any other specifics you would like to see or think will happen?
Might be a bit of a stretch goal, but I would like to see some Andy Benton Scream team-ups. Like, I've liked reading the Ghost Spider series. Ghost Spider kind of had that tie-in to Outlawed. I'm like, hey, why not a group of renegade teens, Gwen and Andy, going against the law in not Civil War 3?
Oh yeah, I think Gwen and Andy would make a really good juxtaposition, maybe, like, because Gwen's a bit more perky.
They both have kind of dark symbiotes.
Yeah.
With Gwenum coming back again.
Like, like, when they first would meet each other, they wouldn't get along at all.
Definitely.
Like, I can see Gwen being like, that's a dangerous symbiote, and Andy being like, that's an annoying hero that's going to beat me up.
Imagine the cover, Ghost Spider versus Scream. Grr.
Scream of the Ghost.
And then they become good friends and make a band or something, I don't know.
Yeah, Andy definitely fits in an emo rock band.
I could see it being kind of like Cable and Deadpool, that team up sort of thing.
Haha, I'm kind of wacky. Grr, I'm brooding. Shut up.
Yeah, now you've mentioned it, I want that too. That sounds amazing.
I'm glad my dream is everyone's dream.
Yeah, I would quite like Ghost Spider and Scream team up, but that Republic, I know both of the books have been cancelled as well, so
they have
if
that
you
in
put them
common
both
as well.
together and put them in one book.
Yeah, like they can come back together. Then there's one less book you have to produce. Both the people we want are there. So
buy Ghost Scream stocks now while they're low. They're only going to appreciate in value.
So yeah, we've all got some different hopes for future of Scream. It's nice because at least that means it's open enough that we can all have different hopes for it. It's not just so closed off,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Our next topic is fan creations. Well, we're no strangers to that one.
Do memes count as fan creations?
Yeah, totally.
I guess this is a fan creation.
This one was about, promoting original content created by fans, like videos, fan art, fan fiction, things like that. We're all screaming for Scream. It's just nice to, get stuff out there. I'm sure by the time this comes out, we'll have retweeted so much more stuff. But recently, since the discovery of the cancellation, we've been getting a lot of fan art and stuff out there. It's been really nice to see because, it doesn't make you feel so alone in wanting to support Scream and trying to keep it going, So what we did is we had a quick look around through some of the stuff we'd retweeted and searched over to see, our favorites of some of the fan created content. And yeah, so I will share mine first. When I think of fan created content for Scream, the first thing I always think of is the Let's Talk Scream account. Because when I think of Scream, it's usually I think of that first, and then, obviously ours, but then after that, it's Let's Talk Scream. And whenever I think about Let's Talk Scream, I always think about the fantastic cover art that she has. Like, it's so pretty, and it makes me smile every time I see it. I believe the cover is done by someone called at Jazz Dragon. I think that's who Let's Talk Scream has it credited on her page. But yeah, good job with that art. It's very striking and very unique.
Really playing the Donna Scream romance angle, much in the way that I think of Eddie and Venom.
Do you know, I'll be honest, I never thought of it as Donna. I honestly thought of it as the girl who runs Let's Talk Scream.
Oh, gee, I don't know.
That's what I thought for ages until I saw her. And then I was like, oh, no, it's not her. Oh, well, could have fooled me. And then, because I couldn't just choose one, the other one I remembered because it was, first of all, it was really cool. And secondly, it was quite early, I believe, into our Scream of Carnage account that this came up.
Yeah, it's when we were first looking for content to retweet and get people hype.
It was the Scream cosplay that we retweeted, and it's by a lady called Yuki Chaman on Instagram. Sorry if that is not pronounced correctly, but it's got 4 U's in it. I'm taking a gamble as it is.
The one with the spaghetti hair, yeah?
Yeah. It's so good. It's really well put together. Like, I've cosplayed a lot myself, and I know how difficult they can be, and I don't even do, good cosplays. It's that looks like it's a tricky one to wear, to say the least.
Big hair is always a pain.
Yeah. I hate normal wigs. I can't imagine what that one's like. When I think of fan creations, those are the first 2 that always spring to mind for me. They're very good. Lemon, have you got some things that you enjoy seeing from the community?
Yeah, sure. Huge shout out first of all to Ali, who runs Let's Talk Scream. Hello. Unlike you, she's probably the count. I mean, I help run the Scream Carnage, and I think of Let's Talk Scream first before ours. So first of all, she's done some fan fiction as well, and they're actually really good. I've read a couple. I believe she's got some in the works for Scream Week, so I'm looking forward to that.
Uh-huh.
So huge shout out to Lonely Symbiont, because I like her little cute drawings. I seen she's got her own OC one, but she's also done quite a few little Screams, and I really like those. I guess the other ones are the Venom vlog is keeping the torch aflame, helping out, so that's always appreciative. There's a lady who did body painting, but I don't know who the account is. So it was a while ago, but she did a full body painting of herself as Scream. That was really good. I've got the image, but I don't know. I'm not sure who it is. I know it was on Instagram, so she's got an Instagram account, but it's so long ago now. I feel really bad. I really wanted to find who that was, but if I do, I could always amend it, put it in the description.
Yes, if we can remember who it was, we can add
that's a really good one. Basically, anybody. Oh, Owl Lipin as well. She does good work. Anybody who's ever drawn Scream, if you've ever drawn Scream, thank you. I really appreciate it. I've probably saved it in a giant Scream folder somewhere.
Oh, we don't talk about the giant Scream folder.
It's just a Scream. Yeah, it's just a folder full of Scream artwork.
The 50-foot Scream folder.
So yeah, anybody who's ever drawn Scream or cosplayed Scream or done any fan fiction or just reviewed it, got the message out there. Every little helps. So thank you very much to everybody.
Revy, what are your favourites?
I feel like you got them all in that last catch-all statement, but yeah.
Yeah, Lemon really went for it.
I like Owlipin's fan art as well. Like, anytime they draw Scream, always looks real nice. Didn't they do the profile pic for Let's Talk Scream?
Yes.
The Maid Scream. That's a good one.
That's them.
That's a real standout piece.
Yeah, that's very good.
It's the quintessential Scream.
Yeah, the other Scream art you think of when you think of Let's Talk Scream.
Hello, welcome to the Let's Talk Scream podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the Let's Talk Scream Stan podcast.
We really like Let's Talk Scream. If you aren't following it right now, then please take a moment to go over, hit follow on Twitter at Let's Talk Scream,
and hit that bell for notifications.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Share it with your friends.
But yes, really, what we also want to say with the fan creations is, if you've ever done anything at all, like if you've drawn it, you've mentioned it, you said how much you like the book, written something, whatever, like all of it helps. Like, the only reason that Scream got to continue to get her own book, to not be dead after so long, is because we fans won't shut up about her.
Yes, please don't stop shutting up about it. Just keep. I'm not saying harass. Don't harass anyone. Obviously, I know, but I don't think anybody who's listened to this would. So, but it's just let Marvel know that you like the characters, that you like the book, and support it, and that's all you can really ask for. And then hopefully it'll turn the tides.
I think our final point of discussion is. Oh, no, we've got a couple more. But first of all, we've got listed here that we wanted to talk about what it was about Scream Curse of Carnage that we all enjoyed. So I suppose it's kind of a small group kind of review.
Ah, yes, the book club.
Yeah, it's our Scream Curse of Carnage book club. Just to get people excited and maybe, more interested, more likely to pick up the trade paperback, because I've definitely, we've all read Scream Curse of Carnage as it has come out each time, but I'm planning on getting the trade paperback because it would be really nice to have it as one flowing consecutive story to be able to read through. And yeah, I'm going to start off talking about what I really liked about Scream Curse of Carnage. What I like about it is because I'm a writer myself, so I always enjoy reading into themes and how things are going, but I mentioned earlier that I really enjoyed the dark and raw feelings that Clay dived into in at least in the first arc. Watching Andy struggling with the depression and the homelessness, estrangement from a mother, it was all so raw, and I could really feel connected to it. It just felt like those feelings in particular feel familiar to me, the depression, the suicide, I've been there, I've done that. And it was really nice to see a comic book of all things, tackling it head on, not shying away from it, saying this is a real thing. And we're in a superhero world and, there's lots of fantastical things, but, here's something real, to ground it, apart from, the crazy, symbiote stuff and the giant monster stuff. I thought it was really good. And the theme of motherhood that they went for, and like Big Mother and Andy, struggling with the relationship with her own mother, I think it all tied together really nicely. And, it came to a really good ending for that first arc. And it was really nice to see a young girl who was ready to give up everything. I think the point that really turned it around for me is when she is jumping off the bridge and Scream saves her. And like you can see the blood like dripping from her hand as, the Scream symbiote caught onto her and wouldn't let her, end it all. It was a really powerful image. And yeah, so now like we get to see this girl who lost everything, had everything stolen from her, learning to build new relationships. Like we saw a very painful and quick bonding with Scream, and she didn't want it. And she slowly learned that they really needed each other, especially at that time. They needed someone to hold each other up, to prop each other up. And yeah, just seeing Andy going from, I don't want to get close to anyone, I don't like anyone, like everyone I love dies, to seeing a relationship with Scream, and then finding someone new to believe in Aunt May, and her friend that she meets in the last issue before it was cancelled. I've forgotten her name, Beatrice or something? Guinevere. I knew it was something old-fashioned sounding like that. Just, the starting of that relationship was really nice to read. Like, I think that line where, Scream says, "What's this playfulness? This isn't like us." And Andy's like, "Yeah, it's not, whatever." I was like, oh, it got to see signs of like this girl who, really underneath it all is just a normal girl and hasn't had her chance to be a normal girl or a normal young woman, as it were. That's what I really enjoyed about it. Just the realness and along with the supernatural, I guess, for lack of a better word. It was a nice juxtaposition. And I could go on a lot more about it, but I think I've said everything without repeating myself too much. So yeah, Lemon.
I really like Scream.
That's fair.
Because otherwise I'd be here literally gushing about the book for about 5 hours, and as everyone in this recording knows, I can do that.
That's true. I do wake up. I do wake up every morning and go, "Oh, what have I missed? Oh, it's 180 new messages about Scream."
Whew.
Yes, that's usually how it goes. I can talk about Scream in the book for a very long time, so I'll try and be as concise as possible. I like the horror aspect. Don't get too many horror books, like dedicated horror. I think symbiotes work really well with horror. People are starting to notice that because Donnie's run was kind of, at least at the start, was in that sort of horror sci-fi spectrum. This book is horror. I like how grounded it is. One of the things I'm less fond of with the Venom run at the moment is that, not to disparage the work Donny Cates is doing, but he clearly has aspirations to involve Venom in the cosmic side of Marvel. I prefer street level stuff. I'm not a fond of cosmic Marvel, really. I know it's got its fans. There's obviously a big mythology in that universe, but I'm more on the street level sort of thing. I prefer that era and that aspect. So I liked that we had a symbiote book that was street level to contrast Venom's more cosmic exploration at the moment. I like, obviously, like I said, I like the horror elements. I like the relationship, really. That's my primary thing. I always love when a book takes the time to explore the characters. And it's my favourite parts of the Venom run are just exploring Eddie Brock's character and his relationship with Venom. I'm not over... don't get me wrong, the fights are all nice. But I'm kind of the opposite, where I find those are like the interlude between more character stuff. And I like to just explore the characters and their relationship to one another, which that book did. The Scream book did really well. I feel I liked a lot of things, like how Scream sort of acts a lot like Venom did in the 90s. It's kind of like, she's his offspring, and she's kind of like the most like her quote-unquote father. in that regard, in personality-wise. She's very clingy to her host, very protective. But she comes from a good place, but she's not quite sure how to interact. And Andy's obviously not in the best place mentally, so they try and work around one another. I liked that relationship building. I like how they went from sort of standoff. She was very standoffish. There we go. With Scream, and then she slowly let her in more and more, and then finally they cemented that relationship. I like the design where she looks quite corpse-like, because Scream has obviously been dead for a while, and I always took that as Andy having, because symbiotes kind of reflect the host's personality and design to a degree. I thought that was because Andy wanted to die, and she was so accustomed to death. That's why her Scream looks very corpse-like. Very sort of macabre, and then as she starts to improve, she starts to look a bit more healthier. Like in issue 6, she doesn't quite have such a pronounced sort of corpse-like appearance, but it's still there. So I like that. I like the fleshing out of the world and the characters. I wish we could have seen more, really.
I think we all do. Revi.
Yeah, can everyone at home please appreciate that was Lemon trying to keep it brief, and that was still a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I could talk a lot about this book, so I won't.
Don't apologise. I never do.
Oh, sick reference, bro.
But yes, Revi, what do you have to say about Scream Curse Carnage?
Oh, what can I say? Like, everything. I'd echo the stuff again about Andy's whole mental health and her state of mind. I like how we're getting to a point in comics where we can do this for main characters and they don't seem like weak or pandering. They're actually properly characterized, like Silk and Captain Marvel. They have anxieties, they have panic attacks, but it doesn't make them less good characters or lesser heroes. It's like the opposite. It's like, oh, these are people that have negative health issues, but they work through it, and that makes them even more heroic. But yeah, I feel like this comic especially was a really good place for those kind of depression and suicide themes to go in, because it's a horror comic. It's got a really gritty, raw art style. Like, the way the world looks around Andy is how she sees it, if you get me. She's got a bleak outlook, ergo everything looks dark and shady all the time. To be fair, you hardly see Andy during the day in the first arc. It's always nighttime or evening or a dark alley or something.
That's true. I think issue 6 is the first time she's ever really in the day.
She's literally in a dark place.
Yeah, you can't get more literal than that.
Yeah, as well as the art style. I really liked the fight scenes, the way she'll kind of just Scream just overtakes her. She like powers up into symbiote mode and just throws a couple of guys around an alley. Ooh, I did like... There's two things comics have been doing lately for me that I really like. Number one is finding a vague point in time and then inserting something important into it. Case in point, I really like the Unstoppable Wasp cartoon. Not cartoon, sorry, comic book series. And the way they kind of made an origin for this character. Oh, hey, you know this rando comic from the 60s? It's one of those that was kind of made as a one-off, so they show a load of backstory into the first few pages. It takes a point in time. Ah, yes, this lady had a child who's been on the other side of the world in the background all these years, and now they've made their way into mainstream comics. That's really cool.
It's nice, like, to get tie-ins from the past like that.
Yeah, and on a similar note, having Big Mother as your villain, a rando, no backstory villain who was in 2 issues of Captain Marvel in the, late 90s, early noughties. No one's gonna remember that.
That's Clay's superpower, getting super, super obscure old villains and making them relevant again.
It was such a weird pick, but the way he just grabbed her out of the pages and reinvented her really works.
I think as well it helps to it makes the book stand out more because it's not like you're falling back on sort of tried and true characters. You know, it's not like today Scream fights the Green Goblin, who you've seen many times. You know, everybody knows the Green Goblin.
Oh, it's Carnage. Oh, it's the Goblin. Oh, it's, Thanos again.
I was worried when it was like Scream Curse of Carnage, and I was like, oh no, is Carnage going to be the main villain? Like, he's always the villain. Like, he needs a break.
Let someone else have a turn.
And yeah, then he's just completely not in it, and I was like, I am okay with this.
I can definitely survive this. I think the one last point I wanted to make, I didn't even realize it till I was cutting out an image of Andy for a meme. Because the way she has her hair cut in this solo series seems to directly reference how she looked as Mania. Because you get that whole bit in Funeral Pyre where she's going, oh yeah, I used to be Mania, I've got crazy withdrawal, it's so weird not being Mania anymore. And now she's changed up her image.
Yeah, she just kind of have the Sonic the Hedgehog spikes back a bit.
It's a nice callback.
I liked in that Funeral Pyre she had on her name tag, she just like crossed out part of the name and wrote Mania.
Yeah.
That was good.
Crossed out the D and put an M at the start and another A at the end. That was something I liked about Funeral Pyre, because she was struggling so much with like the horrific nightmares about being Mania, and then, obviously she wanted to be free of that, but then her name tag still said Mania on it, and she'd done that herself. It's like, dunno, are you ready to let go, girl?
Yeah.
It's the same with Scream Curse of Carnage, though. Like, she says one thing, but then she means another. Like, she keeps telling Scream to leave her, and then that one bit when Big Mother blasts her with that laser beam, and then it forces Scream off her. Like, there's just an entire page where her inner monologue is just her begging Scream not to leave.
And I think we can all relate to being a teenager and,
Oh, I hate you, leave me alone.
Yeah, saying that, but really you want nothing more than to have the attention and be with those people you push away.
Unless she said you wanted Lee Price back, and you're just wrong.
We got this far before we mentioned Lee Price. We were doing so well.
I'm sorry.
There's always one.
But yes, so overall, Scream Curse of Carnage book, very good. All those points we discussed, like, I'm really excited to revisit all of it. Like, I know it literally hasn't been that long since I've read it, but I'm very excited to read it through in the trade paperback just in one go, just to maybe enjoy all of it.
Yeah.
Hey, you can read those Thor sections now.
I skipped over a lot of the Thor and Null stuff because waiting a month or whatever for another issue of Andy and Scream content, you open the book and it's like, and then Thor did this, and I was like, I don't care about this right now. Like, I'm sure it's interesting and there's lots of lore going on here, but I really need to know if Andy's okay. So I promised myself I would come back to and read those, and I haven't done it yet. So trade paperback does actually have content in it I have not read. So that's my excuse for buying it again.
To be fair, the Thor section does do one thing that I do like. Like, it's taken excerpts from the book, word for word, so it's really archaic language. It's hard to understand.
The Beowulf poem.
Yeah, but the words don't match the images. Like Big Mother keeps saying, it's just a made up fable. It's not true. That's not what happened. It's nice seeing like, I see. This is a story humanity made to make itself feel good.
That's an interesting concept. Okay, yeah, maybe I definitely will pay more attention to it. Also, I won't lie, I was looking at it and I was like, well, this isn't hot Thor. This isn't Chris Hemsworth. I don't care.
This is old Thor.
Whatever.
Oof. Big oof.
After that scathing hot take.
After that scathing hot take, we're on to the final topic. And with this going out in the Scream Week, this is actually tomorrow's topic of discussion and posting or whatever. But it is what Scream means to me. And we're going to do it, obviously, a bit early for the release window and get the video podcast out. But it's specifically what attracted you to Scream? What do you like about Scream? What appeals to you about the character? Is there a connection you feel? Why do you like Scream? That kind of thing. I feel we've been over this a lot already.
I believe we've probably, just through the various talks we've had, we've explained really why we like them.
Yeah, like we've really gone into that. And, you know, I don't want to overshare too much, but...
I was going to say, there'll be plenty of other opportunities, otherwise we'll be here for 3 more hours.
We can have a whole episode on what Scream means to you.
We really could. So I'll just try and keep it short and sweet. Mostly what Scream means to me is, I think it's really important to have books out there that are about young adults who are struggling with real life issues, you know, even if the source of those real life issues is fantastical, like in Andy's case. I know people who suffer from, you know, depression, estrangement, homelessness, suicide, all that kind of stuff. It's really nice to see on paper and, you know, for someone to be tackling it and to find important relationships in places you never think you'd look for them or in people you try to push away. I think that's why it's important to me and why I like it so much, because it has all those things. And I'm going to keep reading it because I just want Andy to be okay.
Just want her to have a good life.
Are you okay?
I just want her to be alright. She deserves to be happy. Lemon, can you try and sum up what it means, what Scream means to you?
No. Why would you even ask me? You know I can't. So all I will say is I really like Scream. I have liked Scream for a very long time. I literally went insane when they announced that she was not only getting... Well, first of all, I went insane when she got the tie-in for Absolute Carnage. That was beyond what I ever thought would happen, and then it got even wilder because they gave her own series, which I remember I shouted really loud. That was a good day.
You know, I know we weren't going to mention Lee Price, like, and try not to do it too much, but I feel it's relevant to the story. Like, it was at this point in our lives that I was learning a lot about Lee Price and Venom Inc. every day, and
I didn't stop talking about it.
No, so like suddenly it was like blah blah blah, like Venom Inc. blah 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 Mania, and then just suddenly all of it changed. Like all of it was. It wasn't like, you know, oh, it's so sad, like, and I'm really upset about it. But suddenly it was like, oh my god, the world is good again.
Null be praised.
And praise Null. Scream's back. Andy's back. It was a double whammy.
Well, I'll go on record right now. And Scream's my favourite symbiote. Next, and then Venom, obviously. But my favourite host is Andy. And I mean that is not just like Scream. I mean all of them.
Wow.
I like her more than Flash Thompson and Eddie Brock, which sounds very strange because I've been reading comics a very long time, and I started with Eddie as Venom in the 90s. Then we moved into that dark period of time where we had Angelo for 2,
Angelo
and then
Fortunato,
and then the Scorpion, who I used to think would be the worst Venom of all time, but then Lee Price happened, so you never know, do you? But then we also had Flash Thompson, who for me is the best. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. But so Andy's like my favourite host and Scream's my favourite symbiote. And then Marvel went, hey kids, we've taken this symbiote and gave it to Andy now, so it's like your 2 things that you like the most together in their own book. I was like, yeah, really excited. I'm still excited. It's over and I'm still excited.
Yeah, I remember the incoherent screeching at the announcement.
Yeah, I know, and the typing that just turned into gobbledygook.
You face rolled on my keyboard for like an hour before I understood what you were talking about. It was
Yeah, I know. I got really excited. I'm not going to lie. It's very rare that I get that excited. So
it was great.
Yeah. I really, really like these characters. I have done for many a long time. I don't know particularly why I enjoy them so much. I think there's a striking design element to them. It's nice when an obscure character gets the dues at last when they're finally recognised. I think that also helps because you don't. I never expected her to get a book. I literally thought up until that point that Scream was going to get regulated to like occasional cameo when Eddie's reminiscing about his old days. Should just be in like one panel off on the corner of a one-page spread.
Yeah, with the harp playing and a blurry panel.
Yeah. Maybe a heated knife would be involved. Just that sort of thing. So to get her dues was really, really great. She means the world to me. I've literally got pretty much all the variants except for that accursed Nagoo variant.
We don't talk about that.
I don't know what you mean.
We've got all the variants, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I've got the Marvel Legends figure. I'll tell you this, I don't like pop figures, but I will purchase a Scream pop, and God help me. when that gets announced officially. Yeah, so I love them to pieces. They're great characters, really interesting characters. I like them. I remember as well that I think it was the Scream ebooks account probably has the best description for Scream in the known universe, which was Venom but sexy.
That's accurate. It's perfect description.
That's perfect description. So I'll just leave it with that.
Revy, how about you?
Oh, yeah. You keep leaving me to last and taking all the good points.
Yeah, we really should have scheduled Lemon for the last one because, yeah.
Yeah, you should have really... this is all on you. I don't take blame any... free of all responsibility.
I mean, call me biased. I just like to see the female-led solo series. Like, all my favourite comics are, Unstoppable Wasp, you got Ghost Spider, you got Scream, you got Silk. There aren't that many of them, but I do like them. I like it when female protagonists actually get their dues.
Yeah, and it's a well-written book. It's not like, a quick one or like a one-off or whatever. It's something that's ongoing.
I was quite... I had a bit of trepidation when they announced that book, when Cullen Bunn wasn't writing it, because obviously he's the creator of Andy and I know he really cares about the character. I was a little bit worried that the person that they were going to bring on wouldn't respect the characters, wouldn't do them justice, but Clay really stepped up. He really did treat them with reverence and a respect. Yeah, you'd almost think he'd created them in the first place with the way he handled them. So shout out to Clay for writing a really good book.
On that note, buy a copy.
Yes, please purchase the trade paperback. It's out in August.
God, are you guys always on?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll never not be on, believe me.
Do you ever see a meme and think, how could this be about Scream?
Can I just remind you, I woke up in the dead of night and just texted Creep Show to you. That was how I needed to remember to do the Creep Show meme the next day.
Wake up 4 a.m. I've got a Scream meme idea. I've got to message everyone right now.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 or 4 a.m. I just woke up on Creep Show, text it, back to sleep.
I think we've all done that at least once.
No, I haven't done that. I'm normal.
Right, well, I guess that does bring us to the end of this first ever podcast, Scream Agenda.
Yes.
Definitely, yes.
Thank you very much for listening all the way through. If you have stayed with us, we hope we've entertained you somewhat at least.
I'm real sorry.
We hope you enjoy the rest of the Scream week. We hope tomorrow that you'd like to share with us how Scream affects you, how you feel about her, maybe more articulately than we have done in the past however many hours it feels like we've been going on.
Buy the book.
Buy the book, and yes, stay positive. That's all I can recommend that we all do for Screaming Andy. Stay positive that she'll be back.
Buy the trade paperback releasing this August.
When's that out again?
I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
And on that bombshell,
Buy the book releasing this August.
thank you very much. Goodbye.
Revive Scream, sign the petition. Bye.